In leaving Munich, it's very easy for us to get to the train station because our Sofitel hotel is located right next door. So we just walk over and we get there a little early, of course, and wait for our train, find the correct platform, and load the bags on, get ready to roll as we make our way south to Salzburg, Austria. Crossing borders, leaving Germany behind, and entering Austria. Our first city in Austria will be Salzburg. It's really kind of in the middle of the country, midway between east and west. Austria is not a large country population-wise, just 8 million people in the entire nation. And Salzburg, while it's one of the major cities, is a relatively small place, population under 1 million people in the town here. Upon arrival in Salzburg, we take taxis to our deluxe hotel, the Goldener Hirsch, right in the heart of the old town. On this tour, we did use mostly 5-star hotels, and there was universal agreement that the Goldener Hirsch was the favorite hotel of the tour.
You can stand out in the middle of the street. This is a pedestrian street. The occasional taxi, as you noticed. The delivery trucks come through. But generally, especially this time of day, it's pedestrian street. It's the Getreidegasse, and it's only 600 yards long, all the way to the other end, so it's an easy walk, and you'll be spending time on your own, obviously, up and down this street. In the evening, it's quite nice, too. Most of the shops will be closing at 6 or 8 o'clock, but it's got a nice atmosphere at night as well. And obviously there's restaurants, cafes, ice cream shops along the way too. And there's little alleys that lead off from it. Quite a few courtyards behind these buildings. And this street began life in the Middle Ages as just simply a row of shops on one side, and then they built the upstairs for people to live, and then they built shops behind. And there's a parallel street in the back that we'll be seeing shortly. And gradually the two blocks grew in together, and they call them through houses. It's an alleyway through from the front to the back, and you'll see there's a dozen of these alleyways, so that's part of the fun. And you see all these fabulous signs hanging out, including our own hotel sign. It dates back to the Middle Ages, when people were not literate, so the signs would tell the story of what was available in the shop. This street has more of these wonderful medieval signs than any street I've ever seen anywhere in Europe. It's a great collection. Okay, we'll go in this alley right here. It's the Sternbrau Beer Garden, and they have several restaurants. Also, that's where you'll find the small theater that has the Sound of Music show. And it's fun. They're wearing their costumes and singing all the tunes. It's all a legit licensed operation, of course, from Sound of Music. And I've seen it a couple times. I like it. Even McDonald's has got a medieval sign. There's the golden arches up there. And then just here, right behind you, is Nordsee. There's several of those here. And it's good for that fresh fish and shrimp sandwiches and what have you. Very convenient and close. They're open all day. This is the most famous monument in Salzburg. It's the Mozart's birthhouse. And this is certainly one possible place for you to eat. They've got sandwiches, they've got the sausages right there. They have a number of these little alleys that connect the two sides of the town. Getreidegasse, the main pedestrian street. This time we're going to walk the entire length, and that'll bring us into Mozartplatz and down by the cathedral, and that'll show us the other end of the old town. And there's something going on here, isn't there? Some kind of festival this weekend, maybe even tonight.
Well, let's listen into a little music for a minute and look at the sights of the festival.
you notice this tent in front of you. What do you think they'd be drinking inside that tent? Nice view of the castle. It's all whitewashed, as you see. Put us in position for going up the castle funicular.
Up in the castle, you'll do a little bit of stair climbing, but it's all worth it because you get this fantastic view looking down on the town below. And then you walk around in the courtyard and the various different areas of the castle. It's almost like being in a small medieval village. Get a view of the old chapel and more views looking out across the landscape to the distant mountains, the foothills of the Alps. Then you make your way down on the funicular and we get to the bottom and we start to climb up another hill.
Well, this first climb is pretty steep and the second climb is equally steep, but this will take us up there to the Capucine Hill. It's a bit of a hike to get up here, this Capucine Hill, but it only hurts for a little while. It's worth it, it's worth it.
Salzburg is graced with a handful of spectacular viewpoints, and the Capucine Hill is certainly one of them. Don't miss it when you come to Salzburg.
Well, it makes a nice walk. It's only about a 25-minute round trip altogether. Not bad. Going down is very easy. Take a left and we'll go right down the staircase. Down the steps we go. Oh yeah. At least it's organized. It's not a muddy hill. Just go down, down, down. There's a railing if you need it.
Walking down this staircase is definitely easier than walking up the steep hill.
The Mirabell Palace was constructed by one of the bishops, Wolfgang Dietrich. He was the most important of all the bishops who ruled in Salzburg, and he built it for his mistress, with whom he had 15 children. That's why she lived in the palace, he lived up in the castle. But somehow they got together and had 15 children.
So he wasn't Catholic?
He was Catholic, yeah, very. You know, in those days it was quite a bit different with the church. Popes had children in those days, and certainly bishops had children, priests had children. Maybe the church should move to that today once again. They're having trouble finding priests. But that was certainly an open tradition back. We're talking 1650s when it was built, in the Baroque period. And he was the man who also organized the construction of the cathedral in that Italian style. He was a big fan of Roman architecture. He spent quite a lot of time in Rome, elsewhere in Italy, and so he had this designed in that style. Okay. And then all the beautiful floral gardens were put in as part of it. And there's a rose garden down at the end. It might still have some blossoms. So the Mirabell Garden walk just takes about 20 minutes. You go through, look at the fountain and the flowers and the rose garden, and then have a look at the courtyard, and back out you go.
And then we took a private trip out into the countryside to see the beautiful lakes and mountains.
We will go to the Lake District, to the so-called Salzkammergut. So the name comes from the salt chamber. So this is where there are still some active mines. Most of them, they are closed, as salt no more has the same value. But the salt was mined there already 800 years before Christ already. And in the Lake District, so there are 76 lakes in the area. We will see 4 of them, not all of them. St. Gilgen is known as the Mozart town, or Mozart village, because Mozart's mother was born there. Mozart's sister moved there later, because she married the administrator of St. Gilgen.
But the mother was born here, we'll see it in the house, we'll pass by, and the sister lived here for 17 years. Because Mozart, he left Salzburg when he was 25 years old. Because Mozart did not like Salzburg. Salzburg was too small for him. He was only a servant of the bishop. Mozart had to furnish music for the court. And when he was 25, he went to Vienna. So he broke with the city, with the court, with the bishop actually, but with his family too. He went to Vienna against the will of his father. Because in Salzburg he had a job. He was court organist, Wolfgang. And he married in Vienna too against the will of the father. The father wanted him to come back to Salzburg. and he died in Vienna at the age of 35.
Then we will have a boat ride on Lake Wolfgang with the villages or towns of Saint Wolfgang and Saint Gilgen. There's a boat ride of 45 minutes across the lake. Saint Wolfgang is known because of the operetta of the White Horse Inn. I'll tell you later more about the operetta. Then from Saint Wolfgang or Saint Gilgen, we'll drive back then on the romantic road, on a scenic road, passing Cottonsee, and then we drive along Mondsee or Moon Lake. And then from Mondsee back on the Autobahn, the last 20 minutes back to Salzburg. So we'll be back then around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you. The breakfasts at our hotel Goldener Hirsch were wonderful. Eggs and breads and yogurts and cheese. A great way to start the day. And in this case, we are ending the visit to Salzburg. We're leaving town now. It's been a great couple of days here. But now it's time to load in. It was a wonderful hotel, friendly staff, really great people here. It's like a small family operation, 5-star deluxe. Load into the taxis, and we drive across town. It's a small city, so it's not very far to the station.
Bye-bye.
Because our hotel is on the pedestrian street in the heart of the old town, the taxis have to drive out backwards. There's not enough room for them to turn around or drive straight through. It's a small city, so it's not very far to the station. And get to the train station, arrange ourselves. We take a moment to reflect back upon our visit to Salzburg.
I like Salzburg a lot. I think it was a great introduction into kind of the old Central Europe town.
We thoroughly enjoyed our evening at enjoying music and food at a Mozart concert. It was wonderful. The musicians were terrific. The food was lovely. I decided that I really am amazed by the people here who are so fiercely loyal to their town. They really see themselves as Salzburgers as opposed to someone from Munich or Vienna. They feel sorry for you if you're going off to Vienna.
Loved it. It's exactly what I imagined it to be, and even more. Especially the mountains and the lakes was just beautiful. And the flowers, of course. I always love flowers, so. Thank you, Dennis, for a nice time here in Salzburg.
That's why I love the churches too. Yeah. I look at the craftsmanship that goes into all of the statues and everything. Really beautiful. It's what I imagine it to be like, you know, after seeing Sound of Music and you go out in the countryside in the mountain and you see all the, like a chateau and all the flowers on the building, homes, and it looks like as you're going up and you look up on the mountain, you can see it's all manicured like, but it's a beautiful country.
Did you go to the Sound of Music show?
Sure did.
What did you think of that?
I really enjoyed it. They have real talent. Most of the songs were from Sound of Music, but there were other songs, Austrian songs. So it was different, and I really enjoyed that.
It's so convenient from our hotel, right?
Right, it was only, what, a few minutes, and so that's the beauty of your tours, I guess. It's all centrally located.
Salzburg was very old world, and it was good to see some of the things we studied about back in high school, the way things developed in medieval Europe.
Lots going on, lots of festivals. I got to practice
brush
my
up on her
German.
German.
Salzburg, I think, was a beautiful city. It was wonderful to walk around and actually have our hotel in the city, and to be able to just go outside your doorstep and eat at restaurants, and to actually see how the people of Salzburg live. I think the churches were wonderful and beautiful and full of details and just wonderful architecture. I enjoyed the food there, the sausages and the outdoor markets, and it was just a really wonderful place, nice weather, beautiful hotel, nice accommodations, and really enjoyed myself here.
Oh, we love Salzburg. We loved it. We loved the Mozart concert. Yeah, that was really nice. We loved the hotel, the Goldener Hirsch. I definitely recommend that again, Dennis. It was really wonderful. The lake and mountain tour. Yeah, Harold was a wonderful guide, and we saw so much. The ride was really beautiful, and the scenery, yes, much to see.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was more than what I expected. It was very pretty, and well, we came the right time of the year. I think a little nippy, but nice. Very, very alpine-ish.
Love to see all the snow on the tips of the mountains. The air is very cool, crisp, really refreshing. I'd love to live there in one of those pensions. For maybe a week, it would be so relaxing. Yes. Nice? Sit alongside the lakes and wave to people going by in those little boats.
Wave to the tourists.
Yes, just like we did.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the experience of the Mozart dinner. That was nice.
It was different.
Very nice, yes. The hotel was wonderful. I would love to go to all hotels like that wherever I visit.
No, you're going to be spoiled now. Sorry.
I am. Yes, I am.
The people are nice too.
Oh, Salzburg is wonderful. A lot of neat things to do and see. Good restaurants.
We were lucky to share in the festival, some kind of a pre-Oktoberfest festival, I think it was. And we got to see carnival rides and lots of tents with lots of different kinds of foods that the vendors were selling. Set in the beautiful plazas with all the architecture in the background. We had a nice bus ride through the countryside. Oh yes, that was
beautiful.
Really good.
Beautiful.
Really, the boat ride across the lake was really nice, very picturesque. The hotel was great.
The hotel was great. Goldener Hirsch Hotel. Quaint, but very, very plush and comfortable.
An extra enjoyment, of course, was the festival. Seeing all the people in their traditional clothing really made it additionally enjoyable. And the generations. You saw the young kids dressed as well as their parents and grandparents. And of course, the highlight of yesterday had to have been the Oompa Band. Largest Oompa band I've ever seen. They were having a grand time, and I think it said a lot just about the ambiance here, about the people like to get outside, be outside, have fun. Something you had to be here to experience. A lot of greetings and chatting, and we sat at communal tables a couple times during our stay, and people were always friendly, willing to answer questions, ask questions, and I found that charming.
I particularly enjoyed our trip to the Lake District yesterday. It was decent weather, it was cool and crisp, but the scenery was spectacular, and we had a charming guide. I could envision myself walking along that bank of the Ramon Sea in my retirement years, and enjoying the sun and watching them boat and fish, and it was just lovely.